Steve Lacy, a genius. Steve Lacy was born on May 23, 1998 in Compton, California. Steve went to a school called Washington Prep, and it was known for his jazz program, and Lacy referred to it as a hood school. During there, Steve Lacy then met Jamal, who was part of the internet. Through Jamal Steve, he was able to make contact and make better beats. The reason why I refer Steve Lacy as a genius is because at a young age of 16 and 17, he was making beats on his phone, in which most people can't even do. Lacy's smartphone has been his personal studio since he first started making music, but he was going to school in Harbor City, 25 miles away, and untold traffic away from the Hollywood studio. He didn't even own a laptop either, but he did have a phone. He jailbroke his iPhone, which gave him access to an app called Bridge that could save songs straight from the internet. He also toured through the App Store experimenting with iMachine, Beatmaker 2, IMPC, GarageBand, and others. Mostly, he started making beats all the time, at home, while driving, in school, and once outside a barbershop when there was a bunch of people ahead of him in line, and he had a hook idea in his head. Lots of musicians use voice memos to record and remember snippets of song. Of course, it's just that for Lacy, the stuff stayed on his iPhone. He built tracks in pieces and put them together and upload to SoundCloud or Tumblr. At first, nobody was really listening, but song by song, beat by beat, he gained a following. He later met with Kendrick Lamar, and with Lamar's attention, Lacy played him a couple songs from his demo, and then a track he worked on with singer Anna Wise, a longtime Lamar collaborator. Wise and Lacy had recently been in the studio together. Lacy's more versatile with his tools when he's working with other artists, so of whom thinks the whole iPhone thing is weird and all the equipment was screwing up. So Lacy told Wise, okay, let's make a lick on my laptop, bounce it to my phone, and we'll play this acoustic. He showed Wise how to use GarageBand and sent her into a vocal booth with a phone and a pop filter. As soon as she sang the track, which they call Wasn't There, they both knew they had something special. So Lacy played this track for Lamar, his beat with Wise singing, and as soon as I played it, Lacy said, Lamar goes, yo, put your number in my phone. Lamar hits up Lacy later, saying he might want to do something with the beat, so Lacy sent it to him. He hoped for the best, but didn't expect much. Plans change all the time, especially when you're working with Kendrick Lamar. A few months later, after hearing back, Lacy texted Lamar to see if he wanted to get together again. Lamar responded he couldn't. He was in the studio finishing his album, so Lacy replied, got the track list, followed by the eye emojis. Lamar responded, lol. Wasn't There is a track 4. It's actually 7th on the album, now called Pride. Suddenly, Lacy, who's been a fan of Lamar since middle school and still rues the day his Mad City CD got stolen, had a hand in the most anticipated hip-hop album of 2017. He sat in his car for a while screaming with joy. There's many ways to describe Steve Lacy's style of music. The music website Consequence of Sound wrote about his song Dark Red. Just think about Mac DeMarco kicking it with some Motown records. Lacy calls his style played, a jumble of colors and patterns that somehow work together to make one awesome design. Pitchfork gave Steve Lacy's demo a 7.4 out of 10, and they said this about his album, which I agree with the most. Many of the astounding musical moments here feel teased rather than fulfilled. Steve Lacy's demo evokes that records and its charisma and music ability. Given that it's not even 15 minutes, the record can't be said to be anything more than a particular taste appetizer, but it's hard to imagine the listener who wouldn't yearn for the next course. And here are some interesting interview questions that he's been asked. For example, why was music so important to your mom? Lacy responds, I come from a family of singers. My whole family, my cousins, my auntie, we can all sing. I guess she wanted me to keep going. Another question he was asked was, when did you start singing? He responded, I started singing when I started hanging around with the internet. I never made music or anything. I was just chilling in those environments, seeing how it's done, taking it in. When I started making stuff, I was like, alright, let me sing these hooks I have in my head. But I don't want to be a singer. It just felt weird. Another thing he was asked, you describe your sound as played. What do you mean by that? It's hard to put in pin or label or sound because I don't stay on the same thing for too long. Play is the closest thing I could ever say because I'm a sponge of so many artists. I could say it's a series that sounds like Brazilian, West Coast, rock, jazz. It's all of that's in one. Play is multiple sounds coming together to be a good sandwich. And how old were you when the Internet 2015 recorded Ego that was released? He responded, I was 16. What inspires you to write, and do you still make songs on your iPhone? I'm on my laptop now. I'm not broke anymore. What inspires me is living real life, going through actual shit. It could be a small thing too. Anything like good music, good art. I'm not blocked into one thing I'm inspired by. I like to fuse inspirations into one big thing.